ידיד נפש עבר החמן משוך עבדך רצונך ירוץ עבדך כמו הים ישתחווה אל מול הדרך יערב לו ידידותך מנופת צור וכל
ציווה עולם נפשי חולת אהבתה Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is so nice to welcome you, TBT, to gather once again to celebrate. Here we go. To celebrate Shabbat together. To be able to acknowledge the sacredness of time. And as we enter this Shabbat, we recognize that we are carrying some difficult images this week. The images coming from Haiti, the images coming from Afghanistan. This Torah portion, Parashat Ki Tetzeh, when you go out to a war, sounds almost as if we would say when you come out from a war. And this Torah portion is an invitation to think about the images that we want to see in our lives, the lives that we want to create. It's the Torah portion that includes the highest amount of mitzvot in the entire Torah. 74 mitzvot in this Torah portion, 12% of the 613. Shabbat is a reminder that the creation of the world, the creation of our world, is not concluded. That we are invited to participate in the creation. That we are invited to dream and work toward a world with the images that we want to see. As we enter this Shabbat with a heavy heart for the pain and the distress that we have experienced, that we have witnessed in our world. May we find comfort on the idea that we will keep engaging in creating our world, in bringing goodness to our world, that we will extend our hands in friendship, trying to bring light to those that are in need of light, and so we will find light within ourselves. We will be sharing during the week some links for Jewish organizations that are helping in Haiti and, of course, in Afghanistan. And we encourage you to try to offer your help and to engage in trying to bring, once again, light to our world. We will now turn our Siurim to page 120. We'll start by bringing light to our Shabbat together. I invite you to prepare your candles, to prepare your Kiddush cup. I would like to invite Jane and Marv Goodman to lead us in the lighting of Shabbos candles. You need to unmute, Marv. Here you are. Amen. Shabbat Shalom. And what a joy is to welcome Shabbat together as community, to welcome those that are joining us in Zoom, to welcome those that are joining us Facebook and in YouTube. We walk toward welcoming Shabbat with joy, step by step. If you need to do the blessing, take one more moment. We can do it. Just you say it for yourself. I was with them, so you say it for yourself. And now that we have welcomed Shabbat in each of our places and in the place that we create together, we walk toward acknowledging the Queen, the Shabbos Queen, with joy. We turn our Sidurim to page 130 for Lechu Neranena. שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, על כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, מסרו מיום ליום, ישועתו, ספרו בדגים, כבודו, בכל העמים, ישמחו השמיים, תגל הארץ. אור שרו על הצדיק, ולשרי לב שמחה. שמחו צדיקים באדוני, בהודו לשכל קודשו. Each psalm in Shabbat is like a step in a stairway. It's a step that brings us closer to connect with what is sacred in our lives, to connect with our souls, to recognize the sounds, the melodies that help us make that shift that open our hearts toward the celebration of time. And in this palace of time, we find our voices, we find the sounds. As we turn our Sidurim to page 134 for Zambru Adonai.
זמרו לאדוני בכינור, בכינור בקול זמרה, בחצוצרות בקול שופר. היו לפני המלך אדוני,
Ah
ירננו לפני אדוני קיווה לשפוט הארץ ישפוט בצדק ועמים ומישרים איתם ימונו ובן ביושביה הידיים נהרות עמך אף יחד אדיר ירננו אף יחד אדיר ירננו.
We turn our Sidurim to page 136. It's Morle David.
מזמור לדוד, אהבו לאדוני בני אלי. מזמור לדוד, אהבו לאדוני כבוד בעוז. מזמור לדוד, אהבו לאדוני בני אלים. מזמור לדוד, אהבו לאדוני כבוד בעוז. אהבו לאדוני כבוד בעוז. אהבו לאדוני כבוד שמו. אהבו לאדוני כבוד בעוז. אהבו לאדוני כבוד שמו. איי 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 לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. אדוני יוס, לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. איי 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 Beloved, come to meet the bride. Beloved, come to greet Shabbat. We run toward welcoming the bride. We try to become aware of this presence, of this loving presence that help us transform this Friday night into a night of Shabbat. We turn our Sidurim to page 138 for Lecha Dodi. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה שמור וזכור בדיבורך השמיענו אל
לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקרלה. לא תראשי ולא תקרבי, מה תשכחי ומה תהמי, מה יחסו עניי ימים, ונבנתה עיר על תגלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקרלה. בואי ושלום, come in peace.
בואי ושלום,
עטרת בעלה,
גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה,
פני שבת נקרלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה,
פני שבת
נקרלה. Shabbat is among us. We have welcomed Shabbos. So let's take a moment to acknowledge each other's presence. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So if you are in Zoom, you can wave to each other. You might write a personal message to each other. Say good Shabbos. I want to acknowledge also Evan and Gabriel and Jordan that are here. And of course, I want to acknowledge those joining us in Facebook and in YouTube. And it turns out that many people watch the service later on. So if you are watching the service and it's tomorrow, it's next week, or a random time, we say hello to you and we welcome you as well. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We will dedicate to Shabbat one more song, one more psalm. Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat, Psalm 92 on page 140.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבר, עלי היגיון בחינות, צדיק כתמר יפרח, כארז בלבנון יזכה, שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יבריחו, עוד ינובון בשיבה, ושנים ברעננים יהיו, להגיד כי ישר אדוני, צורי ולא המלצה בו.
We're on page 142 for Chetzi, 44 for Chetzi Kaddish.
יתקדש ויתקדש מרבה,
Amen.
ועמד יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו
Amen.
יהי שמירה ונבורך
לעולם ולעולמי עלמא.
יתהדר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמת קודשם בריחו לעילה מן כה ברכתה ושירתה
תושבחתה ונחמתה והמירם בעלמה ואמרו Amen. As we turn our Sirin to page 146, for Baruch, for the blessing that opens the gates toward the Shema. We take a moment to acknowledge our community. We take a moment to acknowledge each other. Baruch is a blessing that requires minyan, that requires from us to come together as community. It reminds us that the unity of God is found in the diversity of our community. We look at each other, we look at ourselves, and we say, you count. We count. We count you in, we count on you. As we try to open and access the unity of God.
ברכו את אדוני יללי 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 המבורך
Baruch Adonai המבורך לעולם ועד. היי 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 ידעי 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 Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, המעריף רבים.
אמן.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל עמך, אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. You have loved us with an everlasting love. You offer us that legacy of love, your Torah, your mitzvot. And so we try to acknowledge your love and to behave and to act with mindfulness and love in our daily lives. As we get closer to the Shema, we take a moment to think about what makes us, what makes you, what makes each of us feel loved. For some of us, it might be a landscape. For some of us, it might be a memory, a place, a beloved person. Allow that presence, allow that love surround you. And as we become aware of that presence, that love, that light, we take a moment to notice our breath. With each breath, I invite you to bring a little bit of that holy love into your system. And as we exhale, as we breathe out, try to recognize things that don't belong in our system. And gently we just take them out. Breathe out. Breathe in the love, the light. And we try to recognize also the things that don't belong. And we let them go as we exhale. Dear God, allow us to hold on to that love. Please never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Israel.
Amen.
Once again, I invite you to take a deep breath as we turn our Sidurim to page 152 for the Shema. Deep breath.
Shema,
Shema
Yisrael,
Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
We continue with Ve'ahavta on page 154. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם נאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת, אמת באמון הכל, זאת בקיים עלינו, כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו, ואין זולתו, ואנחנו ישראל עמו. When your children witness your presence, they praise your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moshe, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices with joy. Who is like you, O God? Mi chamocha ve'elim Adonai. We're on page 158.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש ונורא לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי, אנו והמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה הוויה אוהל Israel. We turn our Sidurim to page 160 for our prayer, our blessing for shelter, for the Shalom, the shelter of peace that we try to create within ourselves. Ashkebeinu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, b'mideinu shomrenu lechaim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Spread over us and from within us the shelter of your peace.
ושמות צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלום ואחר. ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. אמן.
Page 162.
שמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ואת הארץ. וביום השביעי, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
We turn our Sidurim to page 164 as we also turn toward Jerusalem for Tfilat Amidah. We invite you to to follow the words of our Siddur, and also to try to find the words that you hold in your heart, your Tfilah Shebalev, the prayer of your heart.
Adonai Svatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha.
אלוהינו ולא יבטלנו ממתנו, רצמנו חדנו קדשנו מצוותיך ותשכנו בתורתך, סבנו מדבריך וזכרנו משעותיך ותר לבנו לעובדיך באמת. כן, אדוני אלוהינו ואמרנו רצון שבת קודשך, בנכו באי ישראל מקדשי שמך ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש שברך. ואדם בבת תקווה, בית אל רצון, תמיד עבודת ישראל עמך. אל קרוב לכל כל רבנו. אם אנחנו תעש. Grant abundant peace to Israel, your people forever. Help us recognize, help us find the ability within ourselves to create that peace. Say Shalom במרומיו, ויעשה שלום עלינו, על כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. May the one who makes peace in the high heavens make peace for us, for all Israel, and for all who inhabit this earth. And let us say,
Amen.
we take a moment to acknowledge people dealing with illness. We think of those dealing with illness in their bodies, those dealing with illness in their spirits. We think of those dealing with addictions. 3 years ago in this Shabbat, we celebrated Serenity Shabbat. Remember?
I was there.
And it was a great opportunity to tell those that are dealing with addictions that we are praying with them, praying for them, that our home is open, that our home is their home, that this is our communal home, and we pray for all those that need healing. We pray for those dealing with COVID, and I see some of those that were dealing with COVID in our own community that are here in Zoom. So it is a great joy to see your faces. And I invite you to share the names of all those that you are thinking of them, all those that you are praying for their recovery in the comment section in Facebook, YouTube, and of course here in Zoom, as we turn our theory into page 371 for Misheberach.
מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage sing, and let us say, Amen. Yisheberach imotenu mekor habracha la'avotenu, those in need of healing, with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We wish to all of them, to all of you, to all of us, רפואה שלמה והחלמה מהירה, a complete and a fast recovery. And let us say,
Amen.
Amen. Good Shabbos. Jordan, may I ask you to raise my volume a little bit? I think that we need to raise my volume a little bit. Kind of guessing. And we can actually check it immediately. Those that are not my volume in the room, my volume in the live stream. The other one. Now, can you hear me well? Elaine, from my perspective, you are the kosher supervisor. So that's perfect. So you can hear me well? Now we just need to adjust one thing. Now we need a little less volume in this room. Okay, I think we should be okay. You can hear me as you were hearing me 3 minutes ago. Perfect. I was noticing that we needed to make some adjustment here. So I want to make sure that we can hear each other. This is a very important Torah portion. I will say that once again in a few more moments, but we are 5 Torah portions away from the very end of the Torah, my friends. This is very serious. In 1845, Heinrich Hoffmann wrote the famous Struwwel Peter, or in its English version, Shock-Headed Peter. The book tells, in Hebrew, Daphne, is Yoshua Parua. Yoshua Parua in Hebrew. The book tells several stories presenting pretty horrifying consequences of children's misbehavior. It has a very clear methodology and goal: scaring children for the sake of preventing misbehavior. Even when written thousands of years earlier, this week's Sidra is Torah's version of Shock-Headed Peter, Yoshua Parua. We learn about the Ben Sorer Umore, the defiant son who doesn't listen to his mother and father, who doesn't obey them, who doesn't respond to their attempt to discipline him. And so the Torah instructs, he shall be taken to the elders of his town, to a public place of his community, and the parents should declare, this son of ours is disloyal and defiant. He does not listen to us. He's a glutton and a drunk. And so the Torah concludes, thereupon the men of his town shall stone him to death. Thus, you will sweep out evil from your midst.
All Israel will hear and be afraid. The rabbis in the Talmud really struggle to digest this idea. They don't have in their toolkit the possibility of defining this as a myth or just as a bad example. However, after a long discussion, they conclude, לא היה ולא עתיד להיות. This never happened, and it will never happen. The rabbis clearly reject fear as a learning methodology. Now we are left to wonder, why is the Torah appealing to fear? What is triggering this approach? Over the book of Deuteronomy, we have been exploring the art of love, be'ahavta. We have reflected on the ability to listen, tishmeun. We have been presented with the importance of discerning and making mindful choices, re'eh. We have emphasized the centrality of accountability and justice, shoftim. And now, in Parashat Kititze, the parasha that brings more than 10% of the mitzvot of the entire Torah, now we are introducing fear. And so, once again, why is Torah all of a sudden becoming Struvel Peter, shock-headed Peter? This Torah portion begins, כי תצא אל המלחמה על אויביך. Because you will go out to war against your enemies. And explains the Talmud that war is no other than the war against our own evil inclination. In other words, the Torah portion starts off by saying, you will constantly deal with struggles. It then expands over many of the 74 mitzvot, commandments included in this parsha. You will fulfill a variety of roles. You will be a parent, a child, a teacher, a neighbor, and sometimes even an enemy. You will find yourself in endless interactions and situations, and you will struggle. Now, this is not the first time that the Torah suggests that we will struggle with our decision-making or with understanding how to best fulfill the roles we have in our lives. However, the Torah is self-aware of its timeline, and it is running out. We are about to enter the Promised Land. We are 5 Torah portions away from the end of the 5th book of the Torah, and the 5th and last book of the Torah. And maybe the anxiety for the fear of what we might become, the anxiety for the fear of what we might become, is acting out in this situation. By the end of the Torah portion, we realize that all this is likely rooted in the fact that Torah has in the back of its mind a horror movie.
Torah portion says, remember, Zachor et asher asa lecha Amalek. Remember what Amalek has done to you. Remember the ruthless evil that attacked you from behind. Wipe it out from the world, Torah instructs. But more than that, Torah is crying out. Torah is screaming. Please, don't you ever become that evil. In the variety of the roles you will fulfill, in the variety of situations you will face and decisions you will need to make, you will be constantly challenged. Approach them with love, kindness, and mercy. Be open to listen. Make deliberate choices. Don't guide yourself only by your urges. Seek accountability and pursue justice. Now, let's go back to the beginning of our conversation. The rebellious son is described as sorer umore. Explains Rabbi Ovadia Sforno, sorer means asarat tikvah, the removal of hope. More, he says, comes from mar, bitterness. Having gotten past the challenging vocabulary, we now can see the concern that we might fall into despair and excruciating bitterness. And one might wonder if Torah had the opportunity to rethink and to rearticulate this concern in a more approachable way to our modern ears. What would it sound like? I can imagine something like this. There will be moments in which you'll find yourself disconnected, disattached, distant. Don't despair. Don't lose hope. Be'ashevota levabecha. Remember that teshuvah, that the possibility and the ability to return are within. Start from within your heart. Remember that rethinking and rectification sometimes begin by experiencing bitterness, but don't let that bitterness become your identity. Start from the beginning, one good choice at a time. Savor the sweetness of growth as you become mindful of who you are and who you want to be. I believe I have given you the best tools, Torah would say. Love, attentiveness, discernment, and judgment. I fear you might forget that they are how we increase goodness in this world. Please do use them. Life is complex, and it is easy and sometimes very dangerous to get lost. Please do be careful. I believe in you, but most importantly, I pray that you believe in yourself. Thus, you will all hear, and you won't be afraid, but rather fill with sweetness and hope. Shabbat Shalom. We'll continue our service on page 586. Be'ashevota el levavecha. The Shua starts from within our hearts.
Hashem
בהשבות
אל לבביך,
אל לבביך,
כי אדוני
כי אדוני
הוא האלוהים,
הוא האלוהים,
והשבות
והשבות
אל לבביך,
אל לבביך,
כי אדוני
כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ,
ביום ההוא
יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. We take a moment to acknowledge mourners among our community. And as we acknowledge the cycle of time, we invite you to share the names of those that you are remembering in this evening of Shabbos. If you are during the first 7 days of mourning Shiva, if you are during the first 30 days of mourning Shloshim, and so if you are during the cycle of the first 11 months of mourning,
Jo Angiano.
we also invite those that have a yortzeit this week, the anniversary of someone's passing by this time of the year in years past, to share the names of those that you are remembering. As we turn our Siurim to page 598, you can rise, you can remain sitting, you can join with your voice, you can join with your heart as we support our fellows during Kaddish Avelin, during Mourners Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
Amen.
ואלמד יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה ובזמן קריב יאמרו,
Amen. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולמי אלמיה יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקדשה בריחו. לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ויאמרו,
Amen.
יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו,
Amen.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו.
Amen. May the memories of your dear ones be always a blessing in your life and in the memories of those who knew them. Yeh Zichram Baruch. A few quick announcements. On Sunday, for those that are interested, please join us in South County, in Temple Bethel of South Orange County for the concert of the Klezmatics. I think it will be a wonderful community experience. I think it will be live streamed, but for those that can make it, the event is a mask-on event. So all those that will be seated in the public will be using their masks. So I think it will be handled in a very safe way. So for those that feel comfortable, it will be nice to participate. The space is at 40% capacity right now, so it should be quite fine. It might change just a little bit in the next 2 days, but it should be a comfortable experience and also a super fun and uplifting concert. So the charismatics are coming all the way from New York City to bring some Ruach to Orange County, so it will be fantastic. One more thing, next Saturday, Saturday the 28th, we will be celebrating Slichot. And I say celebrating Slichot because I think that the High Holidays are the festival of human opportunity. The festival, the celebration of our ability to grow, to work with ourselves, to carry, as we hear the shebarim from the shofar, the broken pieces of our existence, and to say they belong, they're part of who I am. And I can find continuity and wholeness as I acknowledge them. So next Saturday, Slichot, and also the beginning of our Havaya school. So we are really, really excited. After more than a year and a half, Havaya school is back in person. So we can't wait to have the kids running around here and the parents, and it will be slightly different, but what a joy, what a joy. I think I'm not forgetting anything. So with all that said, I would love to invite the Goodmans to do a Kiddush. You're almost ready, Marv. I see you. Take your time. How are you doing? And I see, so I invite the Goodmans to lead us in Kiddush and everyone else to participate in Kiddush, of course.
And don't forget to unmute
And
so we can hear you.
that will be great. And then we're going to
Yes, please.
feature your image. And here you go. Kiddush is on page 122. Amen. Kivanu bacharta, danu kidashta, im L'chaim, l'chaim.
Sorry, it's grape juice. I couldn't find
Fantastic.
wine anywhere.
It's fantastic. What a joy. And as we start to conclude our Shabbos, our welcoming Shabbat together, I take a moment to acknowledge the many sources of love in our lives. We acknowledge our parents. We think of our grandparents. We think of our children. As we say, Besimchem Elohim, que Sara, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. Besimchem Elohim, que Ephraim, Beke Menashe. May God inspire you to be like the mothers and the fathers of Israel. Yivrechem Adonai ve'ish merechem. May God bless you and protect you. Yer Adonai panav elechem bichuneken. May God's light shine upon you and may God be gracious to you. Yis Adonai panav elechem ve'asem lachem shalom. May you find within you God's presence always And may you find wholeness. May you find love, attentiveness, discernment. May you find the strength to become the best version of yourself. May you find peace. Adonai os le'amavitem. Adonai yevarech et amav, all its peoples, beshalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
ושכנתי בתוך ואנחנו נברך יד מעתה ועד עולם. Oh God, prepare me to be a
Sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Good Shabbos, everyone.
Good Shabbos. We're gonna fade to black. Everybody on Zoom, and then we'll be right back. But everybody else on YouTube and Facebook, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much for joining us.